Hey everyone, this is the cup that we're going to be working on today. I hope y'all enjoy. So I did not prep this cup because we are putting this wood grain duct tape on. And this was really hard for me because it is like a football tumbler. So it is thicker in the middle than it is on each end. So it was hard to get this tape laid down correctly. The first thing we're going to do is put this piece of tape closest to the handle. And what you see me doing here is I'm cutting the tape so that it'll go around each base of this handle. And we're just going to cut at the very base and on each side of the handle. That way we can remove this piece. Later on, we're going to be doing some work on the handle itself, and that's going to be a little different process. You can see that I'm having a little bit of difficulty here. And we're just going to cut this off so that we can lay it around the edge of this handle. And once we get that on, we're just going to continue laying our duct tape around the rest of the cup until we get back to this handle. Once we get back to the handle, we're going to have to manipulate the tape a little more to get this piece of tape to lay around and underneath the handle. And here you can see this is going to be our last full piece. And then we're going to have to cut the next piece short. So it's not going to be a full sheet, full slice of the duct tape. So we're going to have to manipulate it a little. You can see that here at the ends it does meet, and in the middle that it does not. So this is where it's going to be a little tricky. So once we get this tape cut, we're going to essentially do the same thing that we did with that very first piece. We're going to get it laid down and we're going to get it cut to fit in this area that is still exposed. Here we are, we're laying the tape. And then we're going to use our craft knife again and cut down each side of this handle. And then we're going to cut off that little tab that we created so that it does not go onto the handle. A little later, we're going to be wrapping a green twine around the handle, and we want it to lay as flat as possible so there's less bulge for whenever we put our epoxy on. Now once we get this laid down and it's all as smooth as we can possibly get it, we're going to put our first coat of epoxy on. And this is just the amazing quick coat. It cures tack-free in about 4 to 5 hours in 75-degree temperature. It also has about a 20 to 25 minute work time at 75 degrees. Once you get it laid down, you want to heat it with your torch. That way you're popping any of those micro bubbles that may be in that epoxy from stirring it, from two, as you're putting it on, you can tend to get little micro bubbles, and you want to make sure you get all of them popped. Once that's cured, we're going to go in with our twine, and you're just going to cut this to the approximate length that you need. And then we're going to go in with our glue and start adhering it to the handle. Now here I use the Aleene's Rapid Dry. You can also use B6000 or B7000. So just put that little bit of glue down as close to that base as you want, and you're going to hold it in place and start to wrap. Now I did wrap fairly tight, and as I would put it on, I would start to push down on that so that there is none of that stainless steel showing through underneath the twine. Now this glue does tend to get quite tacky, so if you don't like that feel of that stickiness on your fingers, I would use a glove. I hate wearing gloves, so I just deal with it. So once you have that adhered at the beginning, I start to use it as I'm placing my twine down this handle, and that'll help hold it into place and help secure it better. And this is what it looks like. This is, like I said, just Aleene's Rapid Dry. And I put a thin strip of this glue down, and that'll help hold this twine in place to where I can get it wrapped tight and securely so that I'm not having to constantly hold this. Now when you get close to the base of the handle, you want to make sure you get a good amount of glue. That way it will continue to hold this in place, and you will not have to worry about it coming undone. So we're going to get a little closer to the end here and continue wrapping it tight. Whenever you wrap it tight, that allows there to be less jagginess whenever you're applying your next coat of epoxy. And that'll cut down on some of the sanding and everything that you'll have to do. That was the reason why I decided to wrap this tight. Now whenever you get here to the end, you want to make sure it's pulled good and tight. And then we're going to cut this to where it's real short so that we can get this whole piece completely adhered to this handle. You can see I'm cutting that fairly short because I've got this wrapped all the way around to the end. So now that we've got this on and adhered, we're going to allow that about 30 minutes to dry, and then we're going to go in with our Aleene's Stick and Restick, also known as Stick and Restick. And so we're just going to put a good thick coat on the bottom of our mug here, and we're going to allow that to dry. I did not let it dry fully because all we're going to do is we're going to put some glitter on. And the glitter that we're using I got from, I think it was Hobby Lobby, and this is the silver champagne, and this is what it looks like. It's that color right there. So we're just going to put a good coat on it, and I'm going to put it on the on this piece of paper and really press down on that to make sure that all the glitter is adhered to the bottom of the cup. And I chose this color because it kind of goes with the colors that's in this wood grain tape. And this wood grain tape came from Walmart. See how pretty and shiny it is. I love this color. Now once we make sure it's good and adhered, we want to knock off any of that excess glitter. And then we're going to go in with another coat of glue. And this is just like the school glue. I'm going to use that to make sure that none of this glitter moves up the cup as we put our next round of epoxy on. So here again, it's just the the Amazing Quick Coat. And we're going to put 20 milliliters on here. Actually, I'm sorry, we're using 30 milliliters at this point because of the twine and it being cotton. It's going to really soak up a lot of that epoxy. With working on the handle, you want to make sure you really pay attention to this handle area. Make sure that you've got it fully coated with this epoxy. And we're just going to apply it as usual, just paying special attention to that handle area. Then we're going to let it cure for about about 6 hours. And then we're going to go in, lightly sand it all, and we're going to go in with another coat of epoxy. With this round, this is where I put on my sticker, my little logo sticker. We're gonna use our heat torch, pop any of those micro bubbles again, and let that cure. Now while that's curing, I printed out the little designs that my customer wanted on this cup. And we're gonna, this is on water slide paper, so I'm putting on a really heavy coat of just semi-gloss clear paint. And we're gonna let that paint cure on this print. Now while we're doing that, and I left the whole thing in on this, because I wanted you to see where I messed up. So you see this big area that I'm spraying. We're doing the power wash method on this. So this is just Dawn Power Wash. And we're going to spray this randomly on our cup. And then we're going to go in with our white paint. And I was blowing on that to get that power wash to spread out a little more. Once we get it looking the way that we want to with that power wash, we're going to go in with our white paint and we're going to spray paint this cup. Once you get the paint on the way that you like it, you want it heavy in some spots, not so heavy in the other. Once you get that on, you want to wash it off with your This is just regular water. And this is about the time I realized that I had messed up. So to fix this, I went in with some rubbing alcohol and removed all this, paint, because the area that you see there, that big area that does not have paint on it, that's actually where we did want paint, so that the water slide would show up on this cup. So I'm just using 91% rubbing alcohol and paper towel to remove this paint. And it was not very hard because it was still wet. So once we get that off, we're going to go back in with our power wash and lightly spray around, and we're going to leave that big area open so that whenever we spray, that will be white. Anywhere that you put this power wash, the paint that you're going to use is not going to stick to that area. So here we are, we're going to go back in and we're going to spray paint our cup with that power wash on, and that'll leave some texture to this paint that we just applied. And then we're going to wash it off. So this would be what it looks like. You can see some of that texturing there. Once we get that on, we're going to go back in with another coat of epoxy, because I want this smooth for whenever we put on our water slide. And once you get the water slide cut out, I use room temperature water, let it soak for about 30 seconds to a minute. And we're going to place our water slide on our cup. Now, I don't know if you was able to see it, but once I took that water slide off, there's so much of that clear spray paint that I was able to hold it in my fingers and lay it down like a sticker, because it was thick. And because I messed up on the print, we're going to go in with our stick and restick again on this layer. And we're just going to put some of that glue down at the base of our picture. You don't have to put it on very, very much, because we're actually going to use a green foil and make it look like there's grass at the bottom of this swing. And how I had messed up is whenever I laid my second picture down, I forgot that there was a white background on it. And so that cut off the hooves of my cows that I used on this design. So I'm just using this glue and this foil to make it kind of look like grass. And I think it turned out really nice, considering that we have the green twine on the handle. So it came out really cute. Once we get that on, we're going to put 2 more coats of epoxy on this. And each layer of epoxy was 20 milliliters. So that's 10 milliliters of part A and 10 milliliters of part B of the amazing quick coat epoxy. And here again, you just want to make sure you pay special attention to that handle area. Make sure it's fully coated and smooth. And we're going to torch our cup and make sure there's no micro bubbles. And like I said, we're going to do this twice. And this is the final results of that cup. I hope y'all enjoy this. If you do, please consider liking and subscribing. And until next time, keep crafting.